Now, Felix has already decided in previous comments that I am El Diablo. Felix said, I'm going to hell, y'all. But in this one, I find it interesting. Now, I am taking the advice of some of the people who have said that stop giving energy to these people with these negative comments. And the only time that I will is when they actually make a statement about something else that I won't really want to talk about. So it's not that I'm giving them any attention. But he said that he bet my ass that the U.S. dollar, that I'm happy that the U.S. dollar is no longer number one. Now we're going to see if you believe in God. Nuke time has begun. It's very interesting. I've also heard other people who say that, if America is not number one, then America would rather destroy the world than to not be number one. Well, America's not number one in a lot of things. But it's number one in some other things, like incarcerating its own people is number one. It's number one in that. But we have for a long time not been number one in education, in manufacturing, in so many other different fields and different things that I don't think America really cares about if it's number one in anything other than military. As long as we are number one in military, and that might be short-lived as well, that's the only thing America really cares about. But here's the thing. Felix approaches my channel from a spiritual perspective. Well, let me rephrase that, from a religious perspective. And it's interesting how I find, and I'm not sure if Felix is this type of person, because I don't know Felix. And unlike the people who come on my channel to criticize, I'm not going to decide who a person is unless they've given me enough evidence. And I've met them, and I spent some time with them, and I talked to them. I got to see by the evidence as to who a person is. But my guy Felix reminds me of people who put nationality ahead of their religion, their spirituality, their God on the inside or the outside. See, it doesn't matter to me if America's number one financially, number one military, number one anything. I live in the world. I'm a citizen of the world. So whatever country is number one, I don't care about. What I care about is countries being treated fairly, people being treated fairly, people being treated equitably. I care about that. I care about people who are suffering no matter what country they're in. I care about the economics of all nations. Now, I care about all things being fair in regard to that as well. The fact that the Guyanese president, Adu, decided that he wasn't going to sell raw cocoa to anybody else, to the Europeans anymore, that they were going to produce their own chocolate. And if you wanted to buy chocolate, you got to buy it from Ghana. If you wanted to buy gold, you got to buy it from Ghana, which actually means gold. It didn't matter to me that the Europeans were upset about that. All it says to me is that those countries like Switzerland and Austria, where they were getting their cocoa from Ghana, that hey, either you find another source or you got to find another industry to keep your country going. There's nothing wrong with a country taking control of their own natural resources. More countries need to take control of their own natural resources. Now, I understand Europe doesn't have many natural resources. That's why Europe went out and colonized. But in today's world, if you don't have the resources, then you have to figure out other ways, whether it's through technology or education or medicine or something like that to uplift your country. And they should do that. Not being negative towards anybody, but why should any country take advantage of another country? We should all be able to, either if you got natural resources, you should be able to refine your own natural resources. What is it? I think it's like, might be wrong about each country, but it's Zimbabwe, Congo, and the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. They recently came out, and these companies wanted to buy all their lithium from them. Those countries decided, no, you're not buying the lithium from us. But what you can do is you can invest in mining here in our country. And then you can invest in the manufacture, in the refining of the lithium in our country. And then you can invest in the manufacturing of the batteries in our country. And then we'll sell the world the product. I think it's very smart of those three countries to have told the world that if you want our lithium, you're going to have to invest in our country. We're not selling you the raw material. so you can turn around and send it back. It's only fair. It's only fair. So the American dollar being number one, I really don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. You see, I seek out opportunities no matter where it's at. I don't care if the opportunity is in Puerto Rico. I don't care if it's in Mexico, or it could be in Brazil. It could be, in Ghana, in Rwanda. It can be in Nigeria. It could be anywhere, because I can live anywhere. It can be in France. It can be in France, in Italy. I don't care. It could be in India. I don't care. The only thing I care about is being happy where I live, loving the environment. But what I never put ahead of anything is my spirituality. Spirituality will come first, because my spirituality is where my morality comes from. And just in the video yesterday, I explained where I explained that to a certain degree. Wouldn't you be interested? Because Felix is Christian, from what I can tell. Wouldn't it be interesting if Christians actually upheld the good morality, good moral parts of their religion ahead of their nationality? Because if they did, it wouldn't matter if the American dollar is number one. What you would care about is fairness across the world. You wouldn't look at other countries as enemies. You wouldn't be worried about China as far as their economic growth and development and power. You'd actually celebrate the fact that 30, 40 years ago, China decided that it was going to invest in its people and have its people invest around the world. That it wanted its people, that 1/3 of its people, to be millionaires by the time we get to 2050. You would applaud the fact that China has been making those efforts by investing in their people and then sending their people out to invest in the world. You should applaud that. You should look at that and say, well, dang, America, why aren't you investing in your people and sending them out all around the world? Hell, America's a corporation anyway. Don't believe me? Check it. America's a corporation, incorporated in England. Got corporation papers. The other part about it is that you would celebrate all these other smaller countries that's been coming up and been investing in their people. In countries like Botswana that took their people from the low 9% literacy rate up to about 90% literacy rate in the course of about 50 years. The fact that they have been using the money that they made from their diamond mine that they cashed to invest in their people, you should celebrate those kinds of things. Instead of trying to look at a country and say that who's number one, economically, who's number one. If we ain't number one, they gonna nuke everybody and doomsday gonna come. Negative people often look for negative things, but I believe your book tells you not to be that kind of person. It's all right to live in reality. Got some jacked up people out here, but at the end of the day, is your spirituality more important than your nationality, or is your nationhood governing your spirituality? But y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration. About to head back home from this vacation that we had here, and top down drive all the way home.